Well, it's 7 o'clock, so I'd like to call the meeting to order. And good evening, councillors, staff, guests, the press, television, and online viewers in Blind River. We have quite a list. I would like to recognize in the spirit of reconciliation that the town of Blind River is located on Robinson Huron territory. We recognize Mississauga First Nation as well as the Métis. Prior to beginning this evening's agenda, I would ask that each councillor who is present via this video conferencing to answer the roll call when I call your name. Deputy Mayor Summers? We lost her. She'll be back. Councillor B. Dunbar.
Present.
Councillor J. Dunbar.
Present.
Councillor Wells.
Present.
Councillor Roy.
Present.
Councillor Pastorero.
Present.
Thank you. I have a few announcements, so I will try to be brief. April 22nd is Earth Day, and it's an opportunity for us to clean up the neighborhoods, highways, and byways. Just 15 minutes of your time will clean up the environment while you fill your grocery bag. So if everyone can participate, it's going to look really nice out there. The residents in each of the community have done incredibly well to respond to the community safety and well-being plan survey so far, but there's still time to go to the. So those that haven't responded, go to the town website and let your voice be heard. We hope to get 900 responses, and at the present time, we're at 140. So you have until the end of April, but why not do it tonight while you're thinking about it? Tonight, we would like to recognize Shirley Bilal and Cindy Forrest, known as the Dynamic Duo. These ladies have been working tirelessly in beautifying the trail between Woodland Avenue and the western entrance to the hospital. Prior to Christmas, the Dynamic Duo installed Christmas decorations along the trail. They purchased some of the decorations with their own funds. And other residents also installed decorations along the trail, including frozen heart shapes, which were installed on Valentine's Day. Recently, the two removed the Christmas decorations and installed Easter decorations. This simple activity has resulted in an increase in trail usage from all members of the community and brought joy to those who walk the trails. And it's brought joy to those of us that have gone along the highway too. So it's pretty nice what you can do just to make a few improvements to the community. And so rumor has it the Dynamic Duo will be installing decorations recognizing Victoria Day and Canada Day. So make sure you go for a walk along the trail. May 1st is Doctor's Day. And we all know our physicians have been giving 110% at least of their time in keeping us healthy and fighting COVID-19 and the variants on the front lines. We are fortunate to have family physicians in our community as well as visiting specialists. We will be lighting up the Blind River sign to show our appreciation, as well as providing our docs with a special gift, showing our huge appreciation for what they and all healthcare workers do. Now, without further ado, turning to tonight's agenda. I have a motion from Councillor B. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Roy. Be it resolved that Council approve the agenda, the closed meeting agenda, and the addendum to the closed meeting agenda as presented. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. And I have a motion from Deputy Mayor Summers, seconded by, sorry? Yeah, sorry, I did conflict of interest before the public meeting, and is there any conflicts of interest on the council meeting? Councillor Pastorero?
I will be declaring a conflict for the closed session at Article 1.3.
Thank you. Duly noted. Are there any other conflicts of interest? Seeing none, moving on to a motion for the adoption of the previous minutes, moved by Deputy Mayor Summers, seconded by Councillor Wells. Be it resolved that Council adopt the minutes of the regular council meeting of April 6, 2021, and the minutes of the special council meeting April 12, 2021 as presented. All in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. And is there any business arising from those minutes? Seeing no hands going up, And we'll move on. We have a special presentation tonight from Community Living Algoma, and I believe there is a proclamation coming. Craig Holmes and Deborah Chadwick are here tonight to make this presentation. And Craig and Deborah, you have the floor.
All right. So I have a little speech here I'll read to you for the proclamation. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Councilors, and fellow community members. We are proud to stand before you as the proclamation to announce Community Living Awareness Months as read. I am Craig Holmes, and joining me on this call is Deborah Chadwick, and we are here on the behalf of Community Living Algoma. We are all members of Council of Community Living Algoma. We are a group of individuals who speak out for change, advocating for others and ourselves within CLA and the community of Algoma. Community Living Algoma is a nonprofit charitable organization committed to the full inclusion and citizenship of people with intellectual disabilities. Now in its 68th year of operation, it provides services and supports to over 720 children and adults in the District of Algoma. Community Living Awareness Months is also being recognized by Blind River, Hornpain, Wawa, Elliott Lake, and Sault Ste. Marie. We're honored to share this recognition with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Craig. And
You're
Deb, do you have anything that you wanted to say? Hearing none, I do have a proclamation in front of me. This is moved by Councillor Jay Dunbar, seconded by Deputy Mayor Summers. Whereas Community Living Algoma has provided supports and services to people with intellectual disabilities and their family in the town of Blind River and surrounding districts since 1954, and provides services to 333 adults and 388 children. And whereas Community Living Algoma's goal is that people with intellectual disabilities have every opportunity to participate fully in our community with dignity, independence, and acceptance. And whereas Community Living Algoma works with Blind River volunteers and other stakeholder groups and organizations to promote citizenship for people with intellectual disabilities, so they have the rights and responsibilities and the opportunities that come with belonging, participating, and contributing as a value member of society. And whereas Community Living Algoma Awareness Month is a province-wide initiative created to celebrate the values of community living, which are inclusion, equality, and respect. Now therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the Corporation of the Town of Blind River does hereby proclaim the month of May 2021 as Community Living Algoma Awareness Month in the town of Blind River. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Craig, and thank you, Deb, for coming tonight. We really appreciate it, and we look forward to celebrating May with you. And may it be a warmer month.
Well done, Craig.
Welcome,
Good
glad
job.
to participate.
And moving on to number 9 on our agenda, introduction and consideration of administrative reports. 9.1, I have a motion from Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Be it resolved that Council grant provisional consent for the property owner located at 48 River Drive to create a new lot on the southerly vacant portion of the subject property having an approximate frontage of 361 meters, a depth of 148 meters, and a lot area of 6.25 acres. Discussion. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. 9.2 from our CAO clerk, V21-003261 29, Highway 17. I have a motion from Councillor Fosteraro, seconded by Councillor Roy. Be it resolved that council grant relief from section 20.1 of the comprehensive land use zoning bylaw 16-49 for the property owned located at 2619 Highway 17 West to increase the maximum allowable lot coverage requirement to 5%, where 2% is permitted for the construction of an accessory structure within the rural and resource zone. Discussion. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. 9.3, in respect to 103 Rob Road. I have a motion from Councillor B. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Posterero. Be it resolved that council grant release from section 6.2 of the comprehensive land use zoning bylaw 1649 for the property owner located at 103 Rob Road to decrease the minimum allowable gross floor area to 84 square meters or 900 square feet, where 110 meters square or 1184 square feet is required with the R1 residential single detached zone. Discussion? Councillor Posterero?
Sorry, I just had a quick question. As there's 2 weeks left for the public to have input on that, would it be provisional or would it be just granted if we pass it?
Through you, Mayor, Council, or Mayor Hagman, sorry, this would just pass should we not receive any feedback from the public in contravention of the 900 allowable square feet.
Are there any other questions on this motion? Seeing none, all in favor? And that's carried. Thank you. 9.4, the alternative voting methods from the deputy clerk. But this is an information item for us. Are there any questions that you might have for our deputy clerk, Ms. Walsh? Seeing none. Moving on, there were no items under the service delivery review. So we're on number 11, presentation of committee reports. We had the Police Services Board meeting on March 17th, 2021, and I have a motion from Deputy Mayor Summers, seconded by Councillor J. Dunbar. Be it resolved that the Police Services Board recommends that 3 separate boards for the region be created, and that Tarbet to Thessalon serve as 1 board, and that Huron Shores to Spanish serve as a 2nd board, and that the City of Elliott Lake serve as the 3rd board, and that the City of Elliott Lake take the lead in the proposal process on behalf of the East Algoma Detachment Catchment Area. Discussion. Councillor J. Dunbar.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm just curious if maybe someone on the board can enlighten us as to the reason why the separation here. I mean, I believe Inspector Sturgeon oversees all these areas. I'd just like to know the reasoning behind this, if there is any.
And I will defer your answer to Deputy Mayor Summers or Ms. Scott, as they both are on the board.
Through you, Madam Mayor. So the rationale behind this is that this is a change to the Police Services Act. So currently, some of our municipalities that are under the umbrella of the East Algoma Detachment, which there are 17, do not have individual police boards as we do now. So the proposal of the province would be to put us all together. Having 17 municipalities of differing needs from the police services may not have the best representation in a large board of 17. So in discussions with our neighbors, and not all of the neighbors have come on board with this at this point, we're still We're still working through that at this time, but in discussions with the city of Valley Lake and the town of Thessalon so far, and we still have some work to do, but council, by allowing us to do this, would allow us to continue this work, would be able to break up the zone of the 17 municipalities to give us a better dedicated service from that board. So we would have possibly 5 members, possibly more, depending on how many municipalities will be within our board. But rather than having one board represent 17 municipalities, this would break it down for us. The city of Valley Lake being on their own makes sense based on their call volumes and their different needs than the rest of the municipalities have. But breaking it down into the smaller groups would allow us to have better representation.
Thank you, Ms. Scott.
Deputy Mayor Summers?
As well, it's time sensitive. We have to do a proposal to police services in order to have this approved. So that's why we're doing the work now. I think it's June 7th or something is the date.
That's correct, Deputy Mayor Summers. And if your municipalities don't provide the province with a plan or a proposal, they will make the proposal for you. So it's better that we do the legwork now, come up with a plan that works for all the municipalities so that we have a say rather than the province dictating how the board function will be.
Thank you. And are there any other questions on this motion? Councillor Pastorero?
I just wanted to support the motion to say that it's so important that we do have local voices at the table. The provincial push to amalgamize and just centralize this would have a negative impact, I believe, on our service levels. So to have a more local voice would definitely be important. So I would definitely support this.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, concerns? Seeing none, all in favor of this motion? And that's carried. From the infrastructure services, we have a motion related to the Hillside Cemetery and the nation expansion proposal. This is moved by Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Be it resolved that council adopt the proposed 5-year nation expansion at the Hillside Cemetery for the current sites as recommended by the Infrastructure Services Committee. Discussion. Questions? Seeing none, all in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. Under unfinished business, we have none. And surprisingly, correspondence for action, we have none. So under correspondence for information, we have the April 13th, 2021 North Shore Power Group board meeting. Is there anything that council has related to this meeting? Seeing none, I have received no notices of motion for this evening. For introduction and consideration of bylaws, I have a motion on the table moved by Councillor J. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor Pastorero. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor and CAO to sign bylaw 21-22, being a bylaw of the corporation of the town of Blind River, to authorize the signing of the site plan and development agreement with Allison Ruth Christola and Paul Douglas Emerson for the property located at 451G Leisure Bay Road was passed in open council this 19th day of April 2021. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. And I have no council reports or announcements received, and I have no addendums for this meeting. I do have a motion from Deputy Mayor Summers, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Be it resolved that council go into a closed meeting at 7:19 p.m. in order to discuss purchase agreements, personnel, and legal advice. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you, council. Thank you, general public and press. And have a nice evening. We will be on the other side following the closure of our opening of the closed meeting. Thank you. And welcome back. I have a motion from Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Jay Dunbar. Be it resolved that council resume the open meeting at 8:28 p.m. All in favor? And that's carried. And council discussed personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board members or personnel in our closed session. We also discussed a proposed or pending acquisition, a disposition of land, and we also talked about advice that is subject to solicitor-client privilege, including communications necessary for that legal advice. I have a motion from Councillor B. Dunbar, seconded by Councillor J. Dunbar. Be it resolved that council authorize staff to further investigate the options of shared services for the chief building officer services with the city of Elliott Lake. Discussion. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. And moved by Deputy Mayor Summers, seconded by Councillor J. Posterero. Be it resolved that council authorize the CAO to obtain the services of John Maskren of Aird Burles Law Firm to provide legal services to the town of Blind River on an as required basis. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. And I have a motion moved by Councillor Roy, seconded by Councillor B. Dunbar. Be it resolved that council authorize the mayor and CAO clerk to sign bylaw 21-23, being a bylaw of the corporation of the town of Blind River to adopt the minutes of the meeting of April 6, 2021, and the minutes of the special meeting of council held April 12, 2021 was passed in open council this 19th day of April, 2021. All in favor of this motion? And that's carried. Thank you. And last but not least, I have a motion from Councillor Wells, seconded by Councillor Roy. Be it resolved that council adjourn at 8:31 p.m. All in favor of this motion? And that is carried. Thank you very much, council.